Hello and welcome to Capitalist, your guide to wealth creation. Today we talk about the automobile industry. We are not talking about the present, but we are talking about the past. So this is something like we drive back to 60 years, maybe towards the first decade after we got our independence. So we know that India is one of the largest manufacturers, maybe in the top 5 manufacturers globally and we almost have every brand available in India, and most of even being manufactured, including the luxury models. So what was existing in India back those days when we just got our independence? We know we had a couple of models like the Hindustan Motors manufacturing the Morris garage, then the Jeep from the Mahindra and the Fiats, but we never knew what was there beyond that. These were just automobiles that were available in the international market and they were just manufactured in India. And back then we didn't have anything like a make in India or made in India policy, and we never really thought about having all the capability to kind of fully build an truly Indian car. So today we look at the story of a young man from a little sleepy town called Trivandrum down south of Kerala. His name was Kunnath Ayyath Balakrishna Menon, who was the visionary founder of Aravind Automobiles. Most of us haven't even heard of the name Aravind Automobiles, and that too a company from Kerala, which is not so popular as far as big manufacturing industries are concerned. So this is the story of this young visionary who built an automobile which most of us don't even remember today. Balakrishna Menon started his own business and it was called Prompt Automobiles in 1952. Later he flourished and had branches in Nagarkoil, Kottayam and Ernakulam, so constituting 4 workshops back then. And he was doing quite okay, and it was a hard time for him even in those periods, and they used to work almost every day, and on Sundays he used to really work on his whole wish, like kind of a wish to build a car that was truly Indian. During the time in 1955, Balakrishna Menon was traveling from Kottayam back to Trivandrum and he met with a very dangerous accident, and he was almost bedridden and in hospital for like almost 3 months. By the time he came out of the hospital, he had to shut down his business and Prompt Automobiles was kind of closed totally. But he didn't leave the whole his vision to build a car, a truly Indian car, and in 1956 he formed his company called as Aravind Automobiles. So when he met with the accident in 1955, he was driving his most coveted and cherished possession, which was the Studebaker Champion. So that was a car which was very popular during that time, and with the accident the car was totally damaged and he was really heartbroken to see his car lying in the workshop like that. And then as a first project he decided to kind of refurbish the whole car and kind of bring out a new model for himself. And he sourced a Mercedes 190D engine back then, and he kind of revamped the whole car, and even the body, the panels had to be changed, and he brought in a new design and he named it ED Champion. So ED in Malayalam, it's actually meaning you get beaten up or a fight. So the vehicle underwent a major accident, so it was kind of crumbled to almost nothing. So he decided he'll make it ED Champion. So Champion was the name of the real car, the Studebaker Champion, and ED was from Malayalam, which means it underwent an accident. And that's how the first automobile came out from the Aravind garage. In the next decade, he started working on building this second model, and he got a wonderful opportunity. During that time, the Maharaja of Travancore was looking for a car for his palace usage, and he wanted that to be exclusive. So back then there were a lot of luxury cars lying in Goa by the Portuguese, and a lot of work was done to really identify a car which the king could use. And Balakrishna Menon was also there in the team that went to Goa to identify a car, but they couldn't really find one that really suited the king's choice. So Mr. Menon took the risk and he told them that they give him some time and he can build a car for the king. That gave birth to the second model, which is called the Aravind Palace Special. So the king told Mr. Menon that if he's not going to deliver the car, he's going to bear the whole expense of building the car. But he successfully delivered the Palace Special in 1965, and back then he spent almost 15,000 rupees in building that car. So that was his second model from the Aravind garage. Mr. Menon was all pumped up and ready to go into the next challenge, because that was a time when India was looking forward to getting an automobile manufacturer in the country who would manufacture cars that were totally built in India. To meet this dream of building India's own car, in 1966, Mr. Menon brought out the first prototype. It was called Model 3. So a lot of innovative features were there in Model 3 because it had those front reclining seats wherein the person at the rear could kind of stretch out their legs and use it for long journeys. So that was in fact not a small car, but it was slightly bigger. And when it went, the proposal was submitted to the government to kind of invest and make in large numbers, the government had some kind of guidelines where the car had to be built under 5,000 rupees and the car had to be a small car. But unfortunately, the Model 3 was a very big car and it was more on the luxury side, though he could have brought it down to the 5,000 mark when it's mass produced, but the car was not small. Somehow all the politics and all those things, and it didn't work out, and Mr. Menon was extremely disappointed. By 1970, even here the government allotted the whole project to another company, and Aravind Automobiles was not in the picture. Unfortunately, in 1971, Mr. Menon succumbed to a heart attack, and that was the sad ending of Aravind Automobiles' dreams back then. His wife Kartiyani, she tried to manage the factory, gave it off to the workers, but another 3 years down the lane, even that was closed down. So that was the history of Aravind Automobiles. That was like almost 60 years back, and no one really heard about the company ever since then. Then by the 80s we had the Maruti coming in. Then by 90s with the globalization we had lot new models coming in, and India became one of the most important market and a manufacturing hub for building automobiles. And Aravind Automobiles was never in the picture, and we totally forgot about them. Now what is so exciting about Aravind Automobiles in 2021? Rathish R. Menon, who is the grandson of Balakrishna Menon, has decided to revamp the whole brand and bring it back to life. And Rathish is basically an automobile engineer, and he was working in the press in the Middle East, and now he's back in India, and he has decided to give life to Aravind Automobiles. The first step was to rebrand the whole company, and they launched a new brand in March, and they got in a new logo as well, and they started working on their first prototype. And Rathish recently announced that their first prototype will be called as Model 5, because we know there was Model 1 and 2 and 3, which were the ED Champion, the Palace Special, and then the Model 3, and now Model 5 will be called as the Halcyon, and this is going to be a niche production sedan. So the design works have started, and Rathish has started building a small team and is looking forward to get investments to make this a reality, and we expect the model to be out somewhere in 2026 or 27, and they also have a dream to make it the fastest Indian car in the Nuremberg track in Germany. So that's the story of Aravind Motors as on today, and there's a lot of exciting news that will be coming in, and we are sure to catch up all those and bring it out to you. And we look forward to see a truly Indian car coming again from this house of Aravind Automobiles, which really started the whole automobile era in Kerala, I can say, because back then there was no other brand from Kerala, and even today we don't have any such automobile manufacturer in Kerala. So we just hope to look forward to great news from Aravind Automobiles. So till then, this goodbye from the team at Capitalist. We hope our stories inspire you, inspire the young entrepreneurs to start their entrepreneurial journey, and we hope to be a guide for them and help them connect with their prospective customers and clients. Thank you very much.